Niagara Falls, the power that changed the world. Imagine this, 2,800 cubic meters of water every second. And that's not even the whole waterfall, that's just one part of it. The roar is louder than a jet engine. The mist can be heard from a kilometer away. The ground literally trembles beneath your feet. People have gone over it in wooden barrels. Tightrope walkers have crossed above it on a wire. Engineers harnessed its power and lit up an entire continent. Niagara Falls isn't just a view. It's a living machine that rewrote human civilization. Today, we're going there. Inside it. To understand Niagara, we need to go back 12,000 years. The Earth had just awakened from the Ice Age. A massive glacier, kilometers thick, slowly retreated north. Beneath it, it left behind the Great Lakes, Superior, Michigan, Huron, Erie, and Ontario. Lake Erie and Lake Ontario are separated by rock. And through that rock, water began to flow. At first, just a modest stream. But the land was silently eroding. Year after year. Millennium after millennium. Every second the water carved into limestone, dolomite, and shale beneath the edge. The waterfall is literally moving backward. It retreats about 1 meter per year. Over the past 12,000 years, it has already shifted 11 kilometers from its original location. One day it will reach Lake Erie. Scientists estimate that in about 50,000 years, Niagara Falls will simply disappear. But don't worry, there's no rush. Niagara isn't just one waterfall. There are 3. Horseshoe Falls, the largest. Almost 800 meters wide and 57 meters high. Over 90% of all the water flows through it. It's on the Canadian side, and it's the iconic view you see on postcards. American Falls, on the US side. Narrower but still impressive. It has one interesting feature. At the base lies a massive pile of rocks that collapsed from the cliff in 1954. They're still there today. Bridal Veil Falls, the smallest. Its name literally means the bride's veil. Narrow, delicate, almost poetic, separated by a small island. And here's a detail that shocks many people. The waterfalls you see are not their full power. At night and during the cold season, humans deliberately divert a large portion of the water through underground canals to generate electricity. During peak tourist season, summer days, the waterfalls are turned back to full flow. Almost like opening a giant tap. 1895. The company Westinghouse connected the first generator to Niagara Falls. It was a moment that changed everything. Before that, electricity in homes was a luxury for the few. Within a few decades afterward, it spread to cities across North America. Nikola Tesla, the man who designed the alternating current system, dreamed about Niagara since childhood. He saw a picture of the waterfall in a book as a boy and promised himself, "One day I will use this power." He kept that promise. Today, 2 massive hydroelectric stations, one American and one Canadian, generate about 4,400 megawatts of electricity. That's enough to power more than 1 million homes. The same water that was falling over the cliff just a minute ago is now spinning turbines deep underground, and then calmly flowing into Lake Ontario. Without any drama. Now for the best part, people. Because if there's any place in the world that attracts the most daring, and sometimes craziest, adventurers, it's Niagara. Charles Blondin, 1859. A French tightrope walker stretched a wire across the gorge, 335 meters above the water, and walked across it. Then he did it again. then blindfolded, then on stilts, then carrying someone on his back, his manager. The manager, they say, was absolutely terrified and never agreed to it again. Annie Taylor, 1901. A 63-year-old retired schoolteacher built a wooden barrel, climbed inside, and went over the falls. She survived. When she was pulled out and asked if she would ever do it again, she said simply, "No. No sane person should ever try this." But people kept trying. By 2012, about 15 people had attempted the descent in barrels, spheres, and various contraptions. 2 died. The rest survived, paid fines for illegal stunts, and became celebrities. Nikola, 2012. He stretched a wire across Niagara again. He walked across, without a safety harness, live on television. Millions watched. Halfway across, he stopped, looked down, and prayed. Niagara has always been a place where humans search for the boundary between death and miracle. But Niagara is not only water and human ambition. Around the falls lies a unique ecosystem. Constant mist creates a special microclimate. Plants grow here that exist nowhere else in Canada. Flowers and ferns adapted to perpetual moisture. In autumn, billions of monarch butterflies fly through the Niagara corridor, using it as a navigation route during their incredible migration to Mexico. Winter brings its own magic. The falls never fully freeze, but everything around them does: trees, bridges, rocks. A massive formation called the Ice Bridge builds up below the falls. People once walked across it, until 1912, when it collapsed beneath them. 3 people died. Since then, stepping onto the ice has been forbidden. Niagara Falls existed long before the first human ever saw it. The Iroquois people considered it a sacred place. They heard its roar and knew this was the voice of the earth. Then came explorers, then tourists, then engineers, then daredevils with barrels. Today, about 30 million people visit Niagara Falls every year. And almost everyone does the same thing. They stop. They go quiet. They stare. Because there is something in that water that reminds us. We are small. The earth is ancient. And it will continue its work, second by second, whether we watch it or not. Niagara has always been here. And it will remain here for another 50,000 years. By the way, if you want to see it with your own eyes, here's a trick. Come at night. When the tourists leave, the waterfalls are illuminated with colored lights. You stand there in the darkness, watching pink and blue water crashing into the mist, and suddenly you realize it looks like nothing else you've ever seen in your life. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe. Next week we're going somewhere even wilder. Here's a hint. There's water there too. But it's a completely different force of nature.